All right, a very good afternoon to you, and you're welcome to Good Afternoon Ghana. And well, it's the 23rd of January 2023. There are too many things, or a lot of things going on or happening in Ghana. There's a political bit, and also there is a governance bit in terms of management of the economy. So we're trying to handle the two together. But on Good Afternoon Ghana today, we're shifting or moving towards the political bit where we have a number of personalities coming up, showing interest in running for political parties as flag bearers to lead the party in election 2024. And that should be happening because we have some of these parties that are soon going to have their primaries in terms of who is best fit for the party come 2024 for victory. And this afternoon, I'm having a conversation with one of the persons you probably wouldn't even think that he had presidential ambitions. When I heard that he had it, I was surprised because almost all the time when we've had conversations with him, it was along a certain line, other energy. You know, most often it was energy. And he gave us his expertise, his opinions, and all that before the partisan politics set in or came in. So that is in the person of Kwadwo Nsafua Poku. And I'm sure the name resonates, but not, you know, in the area where we are going to be delving into this afternoon. But I'll introduce him to you after this break. So let's take a breather. When we come back, you hear from him. You're welcome back to Good Afternoon Ghana. So we're having an interaction with Kwadwo Nsafua Poku this afternoon, but let me take you through a bit of an information about him, just give you a brief of what the man that we're going to interact with this afternoon. So Kwadwo Nsafua Poku is, he was the country's director for GASOP, that is GASOP Oil Ghana Limited, from June 2002 to September 2012 as a shareholder and Ghanaian partner. He successfully negotiated with the Ghana National Petroleum Corporation, GNPC, for the award of Block 9 South Salt Pond Basin in 2005. Okay, so I have a note on my TV. I think I have to, okay, I have a screen here now, so let me use this one. He later, where am I? Okay, so he later became the managing director of the Ghana office and executive director of the parent company in Port Harcourt, Nigeria. He worked as a special assistant to the Minister of Tourism, the late Honorable Hawa Yakubu, from January 2001 to May 2002. He was tasked to develop a tourism management information system, that's the TMIS. one of the flagship programs for the minister. Now, he designed the Ministry of Tourism website, first website in 2001, which had a database of all tourist sites in Ghana. Remember, we didn't have this. And we didn't know how we're going to sell Ghana's tourism without this. So he was also the liaison between the ministry and the donor agencies that supported the ministry to develop their TMS. All right, let's go to the next one. Mr. Kwadwo Poku is honest, has zero tolerance for corruption, works smart, innovative, the right man to lead the country and its people to prosperity. This is coming from him, so take notes. We'll question him on that. He is keenly concerned about the total neglect of the home region and the lack of hope for the youth in the Ashanti region and across the country. As an energy expert, an experienced entrepreneur, he understands the issue of the youth better and is committed to empowering the youth through skills training when he gets the opportunity to lead a great country, Ghana. Okay, so all right, so that's just a little about the gentleman that we are going to interact with. And at this point in time, I want to say good afternoon to you. Thank you so much for making time with us here.
How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
This is the first time we are meeting.
Yes. But we've met, I think we've met on phones.
Okay.
Yes, because
we've done the phone interview. Okay,
exactly.
Right. This is the first time we're actually in person, yes.
Yes, I'm glad.
I'm very glad to be here too.
And how are you doing? How's your economy in your pockets?
Mine pocket is very low because I have two, I won't say kids, 11, 14. I don't know if you have a 14-year-old at home. When he starts eating, your heartbeat starts pumping.
Okay.
And this is the wrong time in the country to have those 14-year-olds at home because the little that you take to the shop don't buy much, and you bring them home and you want to smack him to stop eating, but it's not possible. So yes, I mean, we are all facing our own challenges, but it's a good time to be alive. I think we have to be forward-looking and hope that things will get better.
When you say, let's start from the corruption, because it has been, one of the bane of Ghana's problems. We don't know how we can eliminate it. But when you say that you have zero tolerance for corruption, what do you mean?
I'm disgusted by corruption. It disgusts me. When somebody said they are disgusted by corruption, it means that it's something that churns my stomach. Look, there's nothing wrong. What we have in Ghana, there's something called rent seekers. I don't know if you know who rent seekers are. Politicians and civil servants and technocrats in Ghana are rent seekers. They don't add value, but they want to take. If you add value, if you are able to do for Ghanaians what they expect of you, there is a cheap balance that say that bicycles don't for only free. So if you are able to do better, you will benefit from the windfall of doing better. But the politicians and the technocrats and the civil servants that we have in Ghana, most of them don't just want to add value. They just basically want to reap where they've not sown. So that is where, for me, it becomes a problem when I see the level of corruption in our system, where people want to go from 0 to 100 overnight. Mm-hmm. My grandfather had a lot of properties in Bubuashi. And Bubuashi is a nice place. People live in Bubuashi. But today, every kid who lives in Bubuashi aspires to live in East Legon. And they want to do that overnight. So when they are even trying to do something, they are not looking at 1 0 or 2 zeros. The level of corruption we've seen in Ghana is at a magnitude that churns your stomach. That is why it disgusts me. And that's why I have zero tolerance for it. And someone like me, look, I put something out this morning and said that I was going to build the biggest prison in West Africa. And people are coming at me, Mr. Poku, why prison? There are 32 million people in Ghana. If we want to separate the good, the criminal, and the bad, okay, we need to find a much bigger place for the criminal and the bad. The only thing that can stop the rot in this country is fear. There's no fear. Even the Bible tells that there should be fear.
But how do you create a fear?
The fear is by punishing the criminal, by basically making sure that people go to jail. People are sentenced. Today, apart from when our fathers, Kwame Pepra went to jail, when the last time you heard somebody go to jail? We talk a lot about people who have done wrong.
To think that Kwame Pepra actually went to jail.
Yes, but the point is that how many people have you seen go to jail? Mm-hmm. Right? We talk the talk. We say this person have done this, he's done that, he's done this. Nobody goes to jail for it. We heard a lot about our brother Opuni and the things we've said he's done. 6 years, he's still in court. That is why I have a policy to say that, look, we need to reform the Attorney General and criminal system so that no criminal trial goes on more than 2 years. It doesn't make sense.
How are you going to be able to limit that? Because you made reference to Opuni, I mean, you have made allegations, so it has to be proven in court.
But the court process should not take 6 years. It doesn't make sense. You need to reform the Attorney General, okay? It's the slow pace and grind of how Attorney General works. That is how cases take long. If you have a situation where the bureaucracy in the civil servants, which replicates itself in Attorney General Department, is cut down, and the court processes of nuisance appeals and writs and petitions and filings in the court is limited, people appealing all the way to Supreme Court, taking 1 year and all that is also limited, so that there is a lot more courts. Look, if there's only one court designated for Opuni's case, okay, it would move faster. But the lawyers will go to court and say, oh, my lord, can we take a date? I have a case in Takoradi. Then he'll be given a date. The next Attorney General will go and say, oh, my lord, the other lawyer didn't come. Can we take a date? And The whole legal calendar, lawyers could be taking dates. My point is, a criminal case should not take 2 years. Whatever it takes to do it, it shouldn't take 2 years. That should be the case. So that when you now have a system that puts the bad away and also let the not guilty, because look, imagine you have a son in school and you're accused of a crime. He needs to know whether his father is guilty or not. The longer it takes for everybody to look at that child that his father is a criminal, it's not healthy. So if the father is a criminal, he should be in jail within 2 years. If the father is not guilty, then that father should be not guilty in 2 years. So it cuts both ways. Nobody.
Do you feel bad that, for example, if you pick on a police case, do you feel bad of being a part of a government that's trying to prosecute him?
No, I don't feel bad in the government trying to prosecute anyone. I think government should prosecute more. I have petitioned the special prosecutor on some cases that I think is a low-hanging fruit.
No, I'm making reference to the duration of the prosecution.
Yes, the duration is bad. The duration shouldn't take that long, but that's the system we have. Until it is reformed, there isn't much that you can do. But I think that that duration should be cut short and more people prosecuted.
And also with reference to the Attorney General, you know, at least we have given the Attorney General some legal room to surcharge now. So maybe the laws are also being made better for the Attorney General to have some power in calling corruption or corrupt leaders to order.
I think the Attorney General has all the powers it needs. It's not about the power Attorney General have. It's how quickly you can prosecute. That's the problem. The Attorney General is clothed with all the powers that he needs. The special prosecutor is clothed with all the powers they need. It's not charging someone. It's not the investigation. Okay, yes, investigation is slow because we don't also have competent, educated, well-established people in that to do extensive, quick investigation. So we need to improve on that. But the most important, real for me, is the prosecution, the court trial. It should not take this long. Look, investigating a case and thinking whether you prosecute or not is one thing. When you do decide that you prosecute and you take the case, the docket to court, that is what I'm saying that should not take 2 years. So the investigation shouldn't take long. Maybe the investigation can take maybe 1 year, depending on the evidence that you are trying to get. But when you do get that evidence and you do take that docket to court, I'm saying that case shouldn't take more than 2 years.
So also you are talking about a situation that keeps getting, you know, worse as a country. You mentioned Kwampepra and the likes. Even Chacho Chikata has gone in before. And you see that maybe at that time we were effective in using the law and making it as fast as we could. Today it's getting worse. And you are with a government that is in office that obviously is guilty of what you are, you know, talking about.
100%.
What does that mean?
Well, it means what it means. Look, I have said that Nanado's government, for me in my books, has 85%. The government has done well in 85%. The 15% I score it low is on corruption, the fight against corruption, making sure that people are in court and are prosecuted.
Which areas are you scoring for the 85%?
Oh, all the marvelous things that the Nado-led government has done. I'm sure with time we'll get into that. But
we're going there. What are you describing as marvelous?
Marvelous, as in the economy that was before we went into the turbulence period of COVID and then all that emanated. When you look at the economy that we have okay, there is a systematic improvement in our economy. Everybody seems to have forgotten that today every child goes to school in a secondary school for free. It's a marvelous achievement. We can't discount that. The economy today...
You're talking about going to school and starving. You're talking about going to school
there are two different conversations.
You cannot describe that as marvelous when I know that my child is in school and is not having the best of care, it's not having the best of food.
Don't you think there are two different conversations?
No, they are not.
They are. The one conversation, hold on. The one conversation is that kid is going to school for free. The second conversation is the standard of dedication and the standard of care the person is getting. So there are two different conversations. Let's not forget that there were parents who could not afford to take their kids to school.
And there were parents who could afford.
Exactly. But today, the parents who could not afford to take their kids to school have their kids in school. That is a marvelous achievement. Don't take it away from anybody.
Have you tried
the fact that, hold on. No, you see, we keep impounding on this to make it look like it's a bad thing for somebody to have a chance to go to school. It's not. A lot of people did not go to secondary school. Hold on. A lot of people did not go to secondary school. And the first thing they will tell you is that, Sankame wofa wuska, and Sanka, if my family had money, I would have gone to school like you. Today, that is of the past. The Nanado-led government and the MPP government has made it possible for everybody to get secondary school education. If you want to talk about the standard of the school, the standard of care, that is a complete different conversation. But that does not take away the fact that we have achieved something where kids go to secondary school for free, which is a very marvelous achievement.
I like the fact that you are trying so hard to separate the standard.
It is separate. That kid getting education and that kid not having the best care in school are two different conversations.
But do you know that a kid can decide to stay away from school because he's hungry, because he's not getting the best of standards? Do you know that? Even though you're providing the free tuition?
No, I don't know that. But let's not take it away the fact that I said the marvelous achievement is that kids are able to go to school for free. If you want to talk about standard of care, providing for those kids in school, having all the infrastructure that they need in school, we can have that conversation, okay? Is that so marvelous? No. The kids, my nephew went to Opokuwari, okay? I know the difficulties that was in Opokuwari when my nephew was there. I'm not saying that it's 100%, but that tells you that if you have a system where about 2,000 people were going to school, you change the system to provide for people can go to for free, and you have 10,000 people going. What does that tell you? It tells you that there were 8,000 people who want to get education, but the barrier is that they can't afford it. So if somebody comes in and said, I'm going to do free education, and they do free education, and it sees a quantum leap of the numbers of people in the school, we should all clap. Then as a nation, we look at the system and said, okay, now that we've gotten the people to school, what are the challenges and how do we address them? That is a completely different conversation. It's not the same. And if I call that marvelous and fantastic achievement, it is a fantastic achievement. Because for once in our life, everybody goes to school for free.
So is that what makes the 85%?
No, that the 85%, as I was going to enumerate, that yes, is one of them. Okay. Then we have the industrialization agenda that we try to do. I've always said that if everybody comes in and have a dream, and try to even work through their dream and achieve half of their dream, it's a marvelous achievement. Nanado has, or the MPP government, I should say, has the 1D, 1F, where we came and said, look, we want to provide a district with every district with a factory. Through that, they've done over 180 factories. Those are factories we did not have. Okay, so those are...
With a PPP...
But again?
With a PPP agreement.
Well, PPP, all various sort of, okay? And those are factories we didn't have, so we have them. There were companies that wanted to expand the factories. They were challenged, stressed, they couldn't. They did take advantage of the 1D, 1F and have expanded the factories. It's a good thing, okay? So those are some of the marvelous achievements that I talk of. Again, you now have a scenario where some companies needed capital to basically do work. The government now said, okay, we would do, if you go for a loan, okay, we'll give you 50% of the interest and we'll pay 50% of the interest. And most companies took advantage of that. So they can import machinery, take a loan from the bank and only pay 50% of that. So those are some of the things that for me, I think are achievements that goes in that column. Again, you have a scenario where people have lost their investments. People have lost their deposits through the savings and loans and all those things. The government took money and paid the depositors money. So all depositors who had their money in the savings and loans that was otherwise lost got their money back.
In terms of the banking sector cleanup?
Yes, the banking sector cleanup, yes.
But
that was a good thing.
A good thing that the government decided to go on the banking sector cleanup. I lose my money, and the government makes sure I get it back.
Well, I'll
clap for the government for that?
No, the government doesn't own the banks. That's my problem. That's the point I was going to get to you. I'm on multiple platforms and said that if I was Nanado, I wouldn't have paid depositors their money. But he did. And
you wouldn't have?
No, I wouldn't have. No, hell no. Why would I?
Explain that.
Let me tell you, if you go into a private sector, do a private sector business and lose your deposit, I won't pay it back to you because it was an individual transaction, individual business. You've lost your money.
For
That's
a bank that's
no, it wasn't the
operating
banks. Hold on, the
legally.
banks. Hold on, the banks are limited liability companies.
Yeah.
Supervisory through Bank of Ghana. A certain amount of your deposit are guaranteed, not all of it. Okay, so if you go to Bank of Ghana, all depositors' money are guaranteed to a certain point. Not all deposits are guaranteed. Even in the UK, Bradford and Binley, nationwide, a lot of the banks that went down, people lost all their money. Government only guarantees a certain amount of your deposits. The Nado government paid everything back. The MPP government paid depositors their money. Today, all the crises that we have, people are basically saying that, look, the government is not doing well. Yes, because we did certain things then, not knowing that we're going to go through COVID and all the problems that came after, but we have paid depositors their money. So think of it. If you're an individual sitting at home, that 2 kids have gone to secondary school for free, that is something that is marvelous through the MPP government. If you are an individual sitting at home and your money was stuck with any of the depositors, their savings and loans, the MPP government has now gotten you back your money. That is a good thing. Because if we hadn't done that, you would have been without your money and your kids couldn't have gone to school.
So sometimes the success of a program is not necessarily what you have done, but the end result of the program that you did.
The government is continuous. So there are problems. We all admit there are problems in the free SHS. We all admit that that needs to get better. So that's why some of us are looking at even other areas. In my right types, I've said that, look, I want to look at early childhood education, primary, not really necessarily secondary. This MPP government have done secondary. So I want to go to basic education. Because if you look at education, nobody goes to secondary school and get clever. You're either clever and you enter secondary school or you are not clever. When a kid gets clever, it's from age 4 upwards. So if you train a kid, early child education, reading and mathematics, if a kid grabs that early age concept of reading and mathematics, that enables that kid to be a clever kid. I don't know which secondary school you went to, but by the time you...
Nifa Secondary School. Nifa Secondary School.
Okay, Nifa. By the time you got to school, pupils or students that could read well are the ones that went on to do well. Ones that were struggling with reading in secondary school always struggle through secondary school because the foundation is wrong. So I want to look at early child education, which is basic education. We need to put more emphasis on the basic education.
But you had information on this before we even went into election 2016.
Yeah, but what you should remember, let me correct you. I'm not part of government. I'm not part of the MPP government. I'm not part of the Nado's-led government. I'm a party member. And that's a conversation I wanted us to have before we get into all this. As a candidate and as a party member, I have to be a leader of the party first. I'm running to be a leader of the party, not president. You have first to be a leader of the party. So you need to prefer solutions to the problems the party have. So I would want us to spend a minute to talk about some of the things that I want to do for the party.
Yeah, we will.
We'll get that. Okay, so when you ask me that the MPP government or the Nado-led government that is there now are doing certain things, yes. The reason I want to run for president is that as a member...
Because I like your idea of the education and focusing on the basic, because that's a fantastic one. And it's what almost all leaders get it wrong. But I remember PPP as a political party had that agenda that it was going to expand the free towards the basic and focus there.
The F-cube, that's S-cube, is free already.
No. In terms of not just F-cube, but it was making sure that it was going to expand. If you have, say, a model school, the model school is going to have basic, primary, secondary, until it's like the 12th grade thing. You graduate before you go to the university, which is going to practically remove the BEC from there. So it was looking at it holistically.
Which is the old system.
Which is, well, I don't know.
Sort of the old system.
Maybe sort of,
yes.
But maybe better,
yes.
you know. So I like the fact that you are saying, you're bringing that up, but I'm saying the government, which you are trying to, I don't know.
There's a difference between government and party.
Yes, but
I'm a member of a party,
yes,
I'm a member of government.
Yes,
that is why one of the things I said,
but the party is responsible for the government's manifesto. The party presents the government's manifesto. I agree,
but it doesn't mean that as a member of party, I automatically can contribute ideas and the government will take it. Okay? I was going to land on this. One of the things I have said is that the reason I want to run for leadership of the party and run for president is that I'm tired of shouting in the popular stand and nobody's listening.
Okay.
So I want to come on the touchline and also play as well. So some of us have ideas, and most of our ideas, we've been shouting them out, writing letters and trying to educate. I'm a member of civil society, and I write a lot. I do a lot of publications in the newspapers. I write a lot for the media, both print and digital, okay? But nobody takes my ideas. So how best to get your ideas implemented than you to do it yourself? You understand? So that is why I want to do this. So it's not like I'm not part of an association, which is the party. I am. But as party member, the government, which is led by Nanado, doesn't have to take your ideas that you come up with. So I want us to clear that distinction.
Clear from that. Okay. All right. So let's focus a bit on some of your policies that you're coming up. What is the Party Transformational Agenda, PTA?
Okay, so recently we've had people come on TV and start talking about their transformation agenda for the nation. But I said, hold on. Before you start talking about transformational agenda for the nation, you need to look at the party. Because for once, you're going to be...
So my producers have served us a bit. I think there are some 5 key points.
Right. So, so instead of people looking at the national transformation agenda, I am saying that let's try and look at the party transformational agenda first. Because the party does not need to be a stepping stone. That's what a lot of people do. They use the party as a stepping stone to become president and neglect the party. That is a problem for me. Okay? The party needs to survive. The party needs to endure in power and in opposition. Without fixing the problems in the party, without talking about bridging the gap between the grassroots and the people at the top, without that, bringing the party closer to government, then the party can't survive. But you cannot also have a vibrant party in a democracy, because then what do we have? Okay, so one of the things, that's why I put out there as the party transformation agenda, is to look at ways to make that the party, the new patriotic party, is vibrant, okay, is liquid in terms of finances, it can actually look after itself. One of the big things that politicians get wrong is that we keep helping individuals who we think are sympathizers to party, so that by they doing well, they will look after the party, be it in power, in opposition. It doesn't happen, because these individuals, when they are empowered and basically have the resources, use it for themselves, and even when party changes hands, they go and support the opposition. So we need to find a way to make sure that the resources that will otherwise go to an individual will find a way to support the party, for the party to be very... Look, Ashanti region, which is my home region, doesn't have a built regional office. It's a pity. We rent an office as a regional headquarters. Oh. It shouldn't be. Why is it that Ashanti region is the World Bank? Yes, the World Bank of the MPP, we rent.
Really?
We rent. Yes, we rent.
Okay, that's news to me.
Yeah, we rent.
Okay.
Why are we renting an office in Kumasi for the MPP regional headquarters? By now, we should have had a beautiful edifice, which is the regional headquarters of the party, to showcase what the party stands for and the World Bank of the party. So for me, those are some of the things I want to change. When I now go on to become the leader of the country, I will not relinquish my role as the leader of the party. Though when you are president for all. But you should also pay a little bit attention to the party that brought you into power. Those are some of the things that I call the party transformational agenda, to make sure that the grassroots of the party... Look, one of the biggest challenge, and that will take us to the next point, which is the youth empowerment, okay? The youth within the party, the youth at the grassroots, feel neglected. They feel there's nothing going on for them. We need to have policies that is targeted at empowering the youth through entrepreneur skills and training.
Let me cut into the youth. You know, you are very big on starting from the basics when it comes to a child and his intelligence and orientation and how they see life. And then in the beginning, you mentioned something that youth today, maybe they live in Dansoman, all of a sudden they want to live in East Legon and want it to be an overnight achievement. What do you think is wrong with the Ghanaian society when it comes to
what is wrong is it's greed and the upbringing.
The greed,
when we're kids,
the greed should come from something.
Yes, that's what they see. So what they are seeing,
okay,
right, is what they are seeing. When we are kids, there was a certain level of fear. You were told to be a stand-up person, go to school, work hard, and achieve. Today, that steps have been kicked on the curb. Because they see somebody who didn't do so well and has achieved. And they think the person did that by going into politics and the person has so much. So then what do they think? They think that, I want to get into politics too. So there needs to be fear. That is why I started talking about the fear of, so that you need to punish. Let people know that getting into politics is not an easy thing, because you go in there, you can grab. There are consequences, okay?
Yeah.
As a businessman for 21 years, I've done everything for myself, okay? I have started when I came into Ghana in 98. It's not that I couldn't have gone to Kumasi, where I was told that, look, anything I want will be set up for me as long as it's in Kumasi. But I said, no, I want to be in Accra. And I came to Accra, and I have done what I have done for myself in Accra with marvelous and beautiful partners I have across West Africa, okay? But the point is, you need to show up to be counted. And I think that the youth of this party needs to be empowered to show up. So that's why I'm looking at not just getting a person to go to school. We have TVET, which is a very beautiful transformational program that we are doing. But I think TVET should also be extended to the graduates as well. Because there's nothing wrong with a graduate having a vocational training, skill training, okay? Then entrepreneurship training. I add skill training and entrepreneurship training as the empowerment for the youth. Why is that? You can give somebody a skill, but we lack entrepreneurship in Ghana. Doing your own thing, having your own a successful business. A lot of people have businesses, but they're not successful business because they don't understand corporate governance. We'd like the one-man business where you see somebody signing company check by himself and he does whatever he wants. It's the turnover of the company that he spends doing everything. That's not corporate governance. And those are the things that we take into government. So we now spend government resources without proper due process. So I'm saying that the youth of the party, which is the youth of the nation, needs to be empowered in youth training. And the training can be anything: carpentry, masonry, tiling.
Let me put you on the spot. Have you tried training any group of youth before since you came to Ghana in 1998?
Yes, I have a very big youth-based labor company in Takoradi, and we do some work for CMC. And I take them through a lot of training.
What exactly do they do?
We are like a haulage company, and we provide other labors for companies. We look at the skill set and the need of companies, and we basically train the people and provide the labor to them.
So youth in politics, which is really a concern to you, who come into politics and within months, year, two, their achievements and what they've acquired, their salaries cannot really match them. What do you make of that?
You know where the problem starts from? The tertiary. Today, go to Legon and go to Tech and see the cars on campus. Go to Legon, they've opened. Go to Tech, they've opened. Look at the luxury cars on campus.
You think it comes from tertiary?
Yes, 100%.
100%?
100% comes from the tertiary. Because the life of a tertiary student, okay, when you come out of university and you have national service, how much does national service pay you? National service pays something like 600 Ghana cedis a month, thereabout. Your first salary...
700.
Right, let's call it 700 max. Your first job, today, the scale for first-time employment is no more than 1,500 cedis take home. Not more than 1,000, depending on the job, but let's go 1,500 cedis. So if you're lucky, that will be before tax. If the company is well-to-do, it will be after tax. What does 1,500 cedis a month to a university student today? Nothing. If we allow that style of living on campus of our university tertiary education, and you expect that lifestyle to come out of university and take 1,500 cedis a month, how is that possible?
So what do you want to do to the students in tertiary if they are living that type of lifestyle?
I have certain things that I think should be done at the tertiary level. Honestly, if we are going to, tertiary education is free. Government actually pay for tertiary education is free. You know that, right? I'd
clarify that because we know we have students who are now fighting.
Do you know there are private universities? The fees of a private university is not the same as they pay in Legon and Tech. That's why KNUST and Legon have fee-paying students. So if you're not a fee-paying student, you are not a fee-paying student. It means government pays your fees. Because all the teachers on campus, everything on campus, government pays for it.
So it's conditional. You cannot say it's
absolutely free. Well, it is free. But
majority
of the people, unless you're a fee-paying student, government subsidize your education.
So it's subsidies.
Well, but you're paying for it. What are you paying? I mean, if you have to go to a private university like Ashashi and all the private, you know how much they pay. So what I'm saying is that the point I was going to make, let me get to the point. I think if government is going to subsidize or pay, as I put it, okay, then you can have those cars on campus. 100%. If government, I'm going to basically subsidize education, then you're a parent and you want to give a Range Rover or a Benz or whatever to your child to come to campus, pay your own fees.
So why are you not seeing this as these are students that are seeing what leaders are driving, how leaders are living ostentatious lifestyle, and they are probably looking up to them and thinking, this is how we also want to look like. And you are looking at in the reverse.
Is that right?
And where do you think the tertiary students are seeing all that from, and why they also want to live like that?
You asked me for solutions. I've given you solutions. You're telling me about the problem. The solution for me is that go back to the beginning of the problem. You said earlier, I'm heavy on basics.
Okay.
The basic is that you need to start from somewhere. The fact that people are looking up to people and doing certain things doesn't make it right.
Okay, so let me get this straight. You're trying to say that the leaders today started from somewhere.
The leaders today are a product of a system, and that is where we are on the trajectory we are on. I have always said that I want to run for president because I believe that the trajectory we are on cannot continue. We need to change trajectory. We need to change. If we don't, in 15 years' time, we will not have Ghana. This system that we practice now, if we don't change the trajectory we are on, we will not be here in 15 years.
I'm sure Kwadwo might come for a part 2 of this interview, but let's take a breather. We're having a chit-chat with Kwadwo Poku. He is a flag bearer hopeful for the MPP, wants to become president for the country, has a number of policies that we're trying to pick a few of them. I think I have about 7-pointer. Let's see if we can exhaust almost everything before we close the show, but let's take a breather. Thank you for joining us once again. It's Good Afternoon, Ghana. And we're live from the Kwadwo studio at North Ridge. I'm having an interaction with Mr. Kwadwo Nsafua Poku. Okay, I didn't know about the Nsafua. It's my producer that told me about it.
It's keys.
Keys. Nsafua.
Nsafua, yes.
Okay.
Keys. The keys. I have the keys for the solutions.
Okay. You have the keys. Is that your tagline for presidency?
No, it's not at all. I don't need to use that.
You just said it.
I'm in Safwahine from where I'm from. You know, I'm a royal.
Yeah, I know you're a royal.
Yes.
Come to think of it. Yes. Yes.
My dad is a chief.
So you must be, you are a prince.
Yes, I'm a prince.
You're a prince. But still,
if that means anything in this country.
It does. It does, actually. Prince are still regarded a bit.
Not at all. Not at all. They will actually beat you and collect the change.
Anyway, so we're having a chat with him when we started talking about a bit of what his key points are, what he's going to be focusing on should he get the opportunity to become president. And on the screen, you have a bit of party transformational agenda. We have youth employment and empowerment, which we were talking about, how youth want to also live very lavishly, ostentatious lifestyle with politicians as they do sometimes.
That one
He's looking at me in a way, but
that one I'm not here.
Okay. Local government provide resources and explore remuneration for assemblymen and women. Hey, you want to do that too?
You have to. You have to. If you want to develop this country, you need to resource the assemblymen and women. Look, local government is the bane. The local government is the solution to our problems.
Hold on. We were talking about the students one, and it was a little controversial.
Right.
And off the camera, I was asking you, I cannot come out of university and you tell me you're paying me 1,500 today because you know that by the standard of living today, I simply cannot feed on that. If I'm living in Accra, I'll rent, I'll take vehicle, I'll feed. I'll probably be providing for others. I'll be taking care of my family and all that. If you calculate that a university graduate, you're giving me that, even if you compare it to the global standard, you're being highly unfair.
Yes, it's not fair. I think that is where, as a government, one of the things that I look at is I have something called the pro-poor policy. Mm-hmm. Okay, as a mathematical student, I look at two things. If I can increase your salary, because your salary is to basically equals to a certain number of things you need to do. If I can't increase this side, if you have an equal sign, everything you do to this side, you can only do to this side, and the effect will be the same. So I'm looking at government trying to do things to reduce our cost of living. In Ghana, cost of living is quite high, and nobody checks that. I know it sounds very socialist, but as a country, I don't think we can be very capitalist in everything we do, especially when recently it came up that farm produce from the farm gate were very cheap, and you come into the city centers and they were very expensive. People will go to China and buy something for $1 and come to Ghana and sell them for $100. It doesn't make sense, okay? So government needs to have policies to check some of these inflationary acts. One of the things that I think we should do as a nation is to have a price watch commission. The Price Watch Commission will basically look at the linear, okay, what are some of the basic, the average costs for certain things. Then those that are away from the middle, from the average, the Price Watch Commission will have to basically go in and find out why. Look, the telcos, we all don't know how much per megawatt or per megabyte costs when we are using data. We don't know. Before,
you mean megabytes?
Per megabyte or per gigabyte. We don't know how much it costs when we are using data. We don't even know how much they charge us per minute or per second when we make phone calls. That is becoming a central part of our lives today, okay? And I think they are overcharging Ghanaians for internet. I can't be using 2G or 3G as pertains in most parts of the country, and you are charging me ridiculous prices. In other countries, they're using 5G. In Ghana, we still have 2G, and the telcos are charging us astronomical prices for data. So government needs to step in and look at these things and say, look, the reason you and I are suffering is because we need to buy data. Data is too expensive. DSTV in Ghana is 2 times the price of DSTV in South Africa. It doesn't make sense, okay? Now, if you look at
coupled with poor services.
Look, one of the things that as a nation we failed is public transport. Why is it that in the Western world, where they are paid better than us, everybody can go on a bus or go on a train? In Ghana, Trotsky is seen as a downtrodden. We should have public service, public transport that you can go on and be happy to be on there.
I'm not sure why you're not seeing this as a leadership problem, and because if you compare public transport elsewhere to Ghana, you see how public transport is in the UK. Yes. You see how it is, and I'll compare to the best in US, even in China. I went to Israel recently. In Israel, it's fun to be in the bus, on the train.
Exactly.
It's luxurious. It's in itself.
Yes, exactly. And no, because then again, back to your question earlier, everybody who gets a job at the bank, the first thing they want to do is save and buy a car. That is why you can be in traffic for 2 hours in Accra just going from point A to point B. So those are things that I think government, the other side of government, which a lot of people tell me that I'm too socialist in my thinking, it's not. Government should also look after its people. It's not just about paying people salaries. Okay. Because if we try to just every year go and negotiate salaries, then we'll be increasing and increasing and increasing. And we know that as we speak, our total revenue as a nation, okay, 50% of that is used to pay salaries. We can't afford that.
Right.
So if I'm paying you less, but I'm making sure that the services that you are going to pay for is not expensive, then you get disposable income. So we need to look at our transport system. We need to invest. If government invests in public transport, not the ones that we've tried in the past, but like you said, ones that anybody can be in. You'll be in a train or in a bus, and you meet a minister in London who is in a bus or a train. Right. Everybody gets on a train or a bus in London. Those are the systems. It doesn't have to be national, but for Accra, Kumasi, and then the heavy populated capitals, we need to try to have a good public transport. It will help. For the guy or the girl that you are paying 1,500 cedis to, will be able to what? Will be able to take a bus to school or to work and make a savings.
That's if the leaders are honest, because recently,
but that is why I want,
recently we put in money in SkyTrain and they came telling us stories.
My brother, that's why, my sister, that's why I want to lead. The reason we're having this conversation is somebody who have a different vision and wants to lead. Okay. If the leader, okay, does not let people see themselves in him, then we don't have a leader. And I keep saying that we've not had leadership in Ghana. So I think that the reason I'm sitting here having this conversation is because I think that I want to lead to get the right things done. But
you're the one rating someone marvelous.
Yes, I've
rated him 85. But you know that it's the same person that has...
I've rated him 85% marvelous. The 15% of all the things me and you can talk about will go in the 15%. But people think that he's not done much. But I think Kwadwo Poku gives him 85%.
Okay. Local government, okay, so you're talking about resourcing local government. And then he also says, reform Attorney General and judiciary to fight corruption. We've had that. Okay.
Yes.
So pro-poor policies to reduce cost of living,
which is what we just talked about. But the local
early
government
childhood
is quite,
education. We've done that.
About the local government is very key. Look, if you live in an area and you have a situation in that area, the first person to see it is your assemblyman. Assemblymen and women see the job as part-time. We pay the parliamentarians, but we don't pay them anything. Okay, so if we want local government to work, for me, something that we started and we didn't complete was election of MMCs. The MMDCs should be elected not on political lines, non-political. Okay, that's where me and the president differ. The president thought he wants to do it on political lines. Kwadwo Poku
that falls under the 15%.
Right. That falls under, yes, exactly. That falls under 15%. I disagree with him. I think it should be non-political so that they can perform and not have the party apparatus hang on their neck to do their bidding. Okay, so I think we need to get a local government right. If we get it right, this country will see massive developmental agendas because the local government, local government, if they're even run right, can take their own loans and basically do their own development, raise their own bond, and do things in their local government that they don't have to come to central government for. So we need, I can't stress that enough, that local government needs to be a key for development in Ghana.
Okay, we talked about the PPP, which I think we touched on it a bit in terms of, let's see what people, in terms of what the current administration is actually doing. You remember that he was talking about how the current administration has done something towards that. I was having a conversation earlier this morning with someone and telling the person that Ghana seemed to be at its lowest in many years, and it's the time for us to begin to pick the pieces together and grow again. And so now that we're down, we should use the best opportunity that we have in industrializing, being a productive country, where we now look at the opportunities we have in other regions, wherever land will be available, improve agriculture, improve industrialization. So we reduce our import cover. To a certain extent, I thought that we could achieve something like that. What do you think of that?
Well, we've done a talk shop of that years upon years. Every time, even the recent budget, there was something about grabbing a certain amount of land, blah, 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 blah. For me, please, look, it's a non-negotiable. First day, you need to take agric serious. We are still doing hoes and cutlasses. Ghana, to feed our people and have access for export, we can't be doing hoes and cutlass, okay? We need to have a massive transformational development in agric. If we don't do that, then look, how is it that we were shipping things to Burkina, to Ouaga, and all of a sudden Burkina is shipping things to us? Because they said to themselves, we can't let Ghanaians be bringing us stuff. We need to start developing. Now Burkina is now sending things to us. They started from somewhere. So we cannot start by thinking that, oh, we'll do. The PPP thing that I talk about is that you need massive money. Instead of borrowing for all these things that we talk about, trying to bridge infrastructure gap. What infrastructure gap? You understand? Everybody wants to be, when there's the league table between Nkrumah, everybody wants to say, we've done, you hear politicians say that, oh, this president is the massive between him and Nkrumah, who's that? It's not necessary. We need to save. Unless we save money, our currency will always depreciate the way it's depreciating. If you notice, all the things I've mentioned, I never touch on energy. You know why?
Which is your area,
because everybody would think that Kwadwo Poku wants to be president because he thinks he's big on energy. No. Energy is my area. I've been doing it for 21 years. But in doing that, I've also have ideas in other areas. So I like to talk about the other areas. But energy is key.
Actually.
Look, it is the 3/4 of our economy. If electricity prices go up, which is going to go up in 1st of February, the prices of fuel keeps going up. Everything now goes haywire. When petrol went to 23 cities, everybody was suffering. But the solutions to some of those things, you can't just have somebody who will stand on TV to do a presentation and he only has one line on energy, and that is renewable energy. You don't understand.
But it's critical. Having been in Nigeria, is there anything you learned from Nigeria and why it was having such a poor energy sector? Because
look, nobody understands the dynamics in Nigeria. Even Nigerians don't understand the dynamics in Nigeria. It's the 250 million population. We can't compare. We are 32 million, 250 million. So the dichotomy of Nigeria is not the same as our dichotomy. But when you come to agric, we have the landmass. You set off from Pong and you are going to Oti, right? On that road on the right, on the left where the Volta is, there is empty land all the way to Oti. What are we doing with that land? And we cannot be doing hose and cutlasses. That's why I'm saying the public-private partnership is key, because you need to bring the heavy investment so we can feed ourselves, and by feeding ourselves, the excess is what? Is exported. But those are the areas that you need to pay attention. Even if you're going to borrow money as a country, borrow money and invest it in agriculture. Those are the areas that we need to improve. But for the energy conversation, I'm sure if we are to delve into that, that would take us another whole show together.
We will be collaborating with you a lot, so let's see if we can get some more information from you later. But let's see what people think. And this one says that, I believe strongly that Mr. Poku aspirant does not appreciate what education means. In its current state, all, including those parents who could have provided better support for their education, are half-baked bread, which nobody eats. Now, that's how bad the so-called free SHS policy program is. Someone says KNP, and that's his name, Kwadwo Nsafua Poku.
KNP.
Yes, 2024 is best. Okay, KNP 24 is best now. Central region is for KNP. You say you are our in-law. Hey, your wife comes from there?
Yes.
Oh, thank you.
So, keep cool for your men. Greetings to them.
So by watching Mr. Poku in your studio, he's...
Oh, say it.
Okay, he says you're a photocopy of Nanado.
Oh, how?
I mean...
A young man like me. How? I'm very disappointed. That person, he should change his TV.
He said no hope at all.
His TV has a problem.
You change your TV.
Change your TV. Your TV has a problem. If you think I'm a photocopy of J Kufo, how can you say I'm a photocopy of Nanado?
Okay, say that one.
You say I'm a photocopy
Good
of
afternoon, Ghana, and good afternoon to you, Annie. I'm Benjamin from Ajay from Old Ningo. Please tell Mr. Poku his policies are all dead on arrival. That's why none of his contributions on his own government is not considered. Oh, okay, that's what you mean. So it means that he will use Ghana's money to build structures for party, which means he will perform worse than Akufo-Addo, who hasn't done so by building party offices.
Which party office? We
are suffering. Okay, this one says that from General Ortega, Annie, please tell Mr. Kwadwo Poku that apart from point 1 and 3, Nanado has covered the rest and his administration is a total disaster. When a flag bearer hopeful of the MPP talk, you realize they don't appreciate the level of collateral damage Nanado inflicted on the party. And that they are inheriting. And this one says, I want to find out from Honorable, how will he compensate his financiers if he becomes a flag bearer of the party and eventually the next president of Ghana for Majid AA? If your government and party is considering your ideas, considering your ideas, we can't trust our economy in your care as well. My regards to Sam George. Okay, you're saying if your government and party is not, you omitted the not. Now, Kwadwo Nsafua Poku is the best man to lead with competency. He's very innovative. You say you didn't add your name. I'd like to have a personal discussion with Mr. Kwadwo Poku for Mustafa personal. Come to his office. So from Ortega says that, Annie, did I hear Kwadwo saying that Nanado's government did marvelous? NPP and its members are living in a different land. Okay. Please tell Mr. Poku that he is a fine gentleman. If he wants to be loved by a majority of Ghanaians, then he should not say Nana done marvelous job. For we all know Nana is the worst president of the Fourth Republic. This one said that from Gilbert Hutowovi, Akachi Volta, you're standing from that. I think this man is pointing straight to the point. I wish he could perform as he speaks. It is indisputable. He is right in all his views I have heard so far. I sometimes wonder why government does not involve such ideas in policy making. I wish him all the best. Good afternoon, Annie. I am Dr. Daniel, an opinion leader in the NPP around Pokwasi ACP. This young man is with brilliant ideas and really deserves to run for presidency. It's a statement of fact that data is expensive in Ghana, especially those of us who studied in Europe. Will attest to this. I think he should focus on instituting ex gratia for assembly members instead of salary. Okay, Dennis from Adenta says, I really do like Kwadwo's policies and would actually vote for him to be able to bring these policies to fruition. But it's about trust issues. Politicians come up with all these plans, and when voted for, they come up with excuses and all that. So he should please convince me in one statement that is to why he's different and won't follow his predecessors if voted for. Your last words.
Well, look, this bit about people keep making it sound like Nana do this, Nana do that. What people should notice is one, Nana is not on the ballot in 2024. Okay, we have to be forward-looking as a nation. You cannot, and it's sad that we are where we are. And the issue of the economy and where we got to where we are, the next time when we have a conversation, I can break it down and let people understand. There are a lot of things that has happened that I'm not happy with. And I have said it openly. If everybody is meant to Google my words on the internet, you know the things I have said against this government that I think that was wrong. Okay, but we cannot throw everything under the bus and say that the man has done nothing. When people now keep saying that affiliation or association or whatever, look, the MPP party has the men. And everybody knows. For me sitting here, you know we have the men. So we will be able to now come to Ghanaians and say, look, this area we did not do so well. Biko, sorry for what happened. We will give you Kwadwo Nsafua Poku KMP to fix the rest of the problems.
All right. This is what time will allow us, but I think that he's very flexible on us in terms of having him again, I'm sure. And then we can get into some more policies that is maybe going to be more beneficial in terms of analyzing policies and ideas that they throw in on us. Thank you for making time with us. Right, my name is Ania Fampof. We'll spend time with Kwadwo Nsafua Poku, who is a flag bearer hopeful for the MPP. We'll be giving you some more of these interviews later on.